In this episode, we talk about the #1 hack on social media from Kim Garst. Coming up.
This video is brought to you by LearnVideo.live, a 1-hour online masterclass on how to grow a highly influential and profitable YouTube channel this year. On this free training, you'll learn the proven strategies and current best practices for growing your subscribers and creating passive income with YouTube. To register for free, just go to LearnVideo.live.
What's up, influencers? Welcome to another interview here on Video Influencers, where we help you build your influence, income, and impact with online videos. I have best-selling author, speaker, and all-around social media extraordinaire, Kim Garst.
Woohoo! Thank you. That was a lovely intro.
We're here at Social Media Marketing World, and I had the honor of hearing you speak about live, about your history on social media. An amazing story. Would you share with us how you got your start, and what was your first big win when you realized, like, okay, this is what I got to be doing?
Okay. Well, basically, I got started because my oldest son was born. I was on my way to law school, and the moment they laid him in my arms, life shifted. My priorities shifted, more specifically. And we as a family went from 2 incomes to 1, thinking we could do it. We were young and naive, and quickly realized that, well, that was tough. Yep. So borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to figure out some way that I can stay home. And I think a lot of people can relate to that because a lot of women, and sometimes the guys,
sure,
want to stay home with their little ones.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so, that was 26 years ago.
Yeah.
And the internet was young and definitely not commercial, really, at that point in time. There were no YouTube videos to watch until your eyes bled. There were no blogs to learn from.
You're lucky if you saw a video back then.
Yeah. I mean, it just didn't happen. So I just got busy trying to teach myself, and it took me literally about 5 years to make my first $60. And
guys, 5 years.
5 years.
Guys, 5 years.
Yes.
We talk about putting in the grind, hustling, and being committed. 5 years.
Yeah, and honestly, today it's so much easier.
Sure.
I mean, you can shorten that learning curve substantially today because there's resources. There's people who've already been down the road that you're wanting to go down, you can learn from. But then, not so much. And I'll never forget, my husband came into our dining room at the time because we had converted the dining room table into my office. And he said, do you have any idea how much money you've made? And I'm like, no, how much? I was thinking he would say, $100,000 or something, which was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he said, you've made $1 million this year. And I'm like, no, that you're lying, right? No. And he's like, no, I'm serious. So it was such a surreal moment because I never, ever would have thought that I would make $1 million. That was never my goal.
Yeah.
My goal was just to make a little money to change or, to allow me to stay home. That was it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that story because, so many people just assume this is going to be like 6 to 12 months and they're going to be able to make it work.
Yes.
But not only did it take you 5 years and just make some money, but however many years to have that opportunity to make the big money, right? During a time, arguably, where there wasn't as many opportunities to do it, right? Like if you were making it that big back then, you were really finding the angles, you were really making the connections and hustling really hard, right? Working hard to earn that.
Well, the interesting part was, there was no ads or, anything. So how did you get your customers? I spent hours in B2B boards. I'm really dating myself, and AOL business chat rooms.
Yeah.
So, and that was just like, and today it would be spam.
Yep.
I would find people that owned businesses in these chat rooms or on these B2B boards, and I'd send them a quick message and say, if I can help in any way, reach out. So that's how I cultivated clients.
Yeah.
And, back then when you got an email on AOL, you got mail.
Yeah.
It was like awesome because, there wasn't like 50 emails or 100 emails every day. It was like 1 or 2. So it was fun.
And, the principles don't change. Obviously the platforms have changed or, some of the technology has changed, but like that grind, that like everyday consistent hard work and effort to make the connections. One thing that I think you can speak to that a lot of our viewers would love to know is you've seen the birth of blogs, right?
I have.
You've seen social media take over the internet, and you've seen like what's happened with people connecting through apps and basically that becoming the world, right? people used to laugh like at blogs, and now like corporations are like, we need social media.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of the trends you've seen and what you're seeing today that you don't think is a trend and is going to be like the next wave when it comes to social media, and help you grow your influence in this new world?
Well, you're right. I have seen a lot of things come and go. And I think because of that, I see the next thing a lot easier than some others. But, I made like a fortune with Yahoo ads, banner ads back in the day. Like, who does that anymore, right? Yeah. But back in the day,
that's the thing. Like, what's going to keep going, what's going to be real, and what's not just going to be like a fad.
Right. So, funny story, though. I was actually one of those people who said they would never have a Facebook account, right? And then, funny thing about this story is that I heard exactly the same thing said about social media as I heard about websites back in the day. If you don't have a website in 5 years, you're going to be out of business. And I heard the same thing said about social media. If you're not on social media in 5 years, you're going to be out of business. I'm like, deja vu. I've heard this before. So I got busy with social media, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like B2B boards on steroids. So I was convinced. And same with blogging. I was like, okay, why would you like write all this stuff and people just find it? Wait, how's that work? But blogging today is probably one of the most impactful things you can do for your business. Yeah. And it's work. It is a grind, but it's such a important part of attracting the right people to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as what's next, I really think that we're coming full circle with social media, where people are kind of getting tired of being broadcast to. Yeah. Social media has kind of become a little bit of a commodity for businesses, and people are, they're overwhelmed. They don't pay as much attention anymore. It's kind of become like banner blindness with Yahoo ads back in the day. So today we have to really pay attention to who our customer base is or who we want to become customers, and then have those real conversations with them. And I think the next thing will be facilitating that, because people are like, from a business perspective, well, I don't have time to sit around and talk all day, right? Yep. So the way that I foresee this being scalable for the average business owner is messenger chatbots, and leveraging the power of that to funnel the conversation to somebody. Yeah. In some cases, it won't be necessary. They'll get the information they need through the conversation they have with your bot, but sometimes it will require a personal conversation.
Yeah, and what I love about this, we were talking like 20 years of experience, seeing these trends, these ups and downs, some things working, some things not working, and like of all the things that are out there right now, from utilizing advertising, all the different social media platforms, is messenger bot, right? Chat bot.
It's like the hottest topic, right?
And if you guys don't know what that is, that's like the ability to message your audience, right? Directly, right? In their inbox. Can you dive in a little bit deeper about that and explain how like people can utilize it to help them not just grow their influence, but grow their income?
Absolutely. I try to explain it from the standpoint of, think about it just like you would your email list, because it's essentially the same thing. And what I think that's so beautiful about chatbots is it's the easiest way that I've ever seen that we can move our social media community to our list. Yeah. So you're not just building a messenger list if you set it up correctly. You can also integrate your regular email address and or their regular email, and you're pulling it and putting it into your CRM. Yeah. If you're on MailChimp, or if you're on Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign or wherever you are, and that's money in the bank, and that's something we own. I think that's something that we have to think of at first, like, okay, it's like an email list. But the way that works is that instead of it going into their inbox with the 100 other emails they get every day, it goes into their Facebook Messenger app, and it shows up. So it's integrated inside of Facebook. A little more
intimate. A little bit more intimate. And they're checking it more regularly versus like emails. Like, people are like, forget that.
Right. So right now, it's a very uncrowded space. Right now. I mean, it will run it eventually. Let's be real. Marketers
ruin everything.
Marketers ruin all good things. But the opportunity right now is just that. The open rates are ridiculous. On average, they're 80%, and mine are like 97%.
Yeah, people are lucky if they get like 5-10% on email. So like, to be able to get it up at that rate.
Yes.
By the way, we actually utilize that here and there too, right? It's very new to us, but again, like we're seeing like huge amounts of success with it.
Yes.
And again, people just like, they're receiving in a much different way than they're receiving spam on email. And this window could be short. Hopefully it's long, but I think it's going to be real short. And that's why I want to have Kim talk about it.
Well, I think there's probably, for smart marketers, like I know you guys are, I think that we have a window of possibly a year to two before this really becomes such a crowded space. Yeah. And that's why, as early adopters, it's always the case, early adopters always win when new marketing techniques come out. And, I think a lot of times we get complacent. I can't believe Facebook's changing. I just learned this.
Yes, yeah.
So it's so annoying when they do. But the reality of it is, stop your whining and just get with it and do the next thing.
Stop your whining. This is from a lady that's been in the industry 20 plus years that knows the challenges of having to learn new platforms, new strategies, inherit more technology. So we're going to go right into something kind of fun. We call it the lightning round. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Last thing you remember grabbing out of the fridge?
Water.
Favorite social media platform?
Oh, this is a toughie. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. No, Facebook's the monster. Yeah. I mean, it's the elephant in the room for sure. I would say I'm probably on Facebook more than I am the other platforms.
Yeah. If you had to give up one thing, social media for the rest of your life or movies for the rest of life, which one would it be?
Oh, I'd have to say Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the movies.
Wow. So thank you so much. Yeah. I just have one more question. Yesterday, I went into your talk about live, right?
Right.
And we have a lot of influencers here that are video-centric. So they're trying to make it on YouTube, utilize video on all kinds of social media. I think the one thing you and I can relate on, even though our experiences are completely different, is live is so important. Can you tell us why live sets apart from everything else and from your 20 plus years of experience, why it's like the thing right now that people really need to be looking into?
Well, interestingly enough, video has been the thing for a long time.
Yeah.
I'll speak from my own experience. Really didn't embrace it because it required equipment that you didn't have. It required the sense of perfection that a lot of us do have. Certainly, it was a problem for me.
Yep.
And it had to be perfect. And my team would hated video days because I was like, it had to be perfect. But now, so you can sit down literally with your phone today and engage with people, and you're like, well, how does that work? But people can comment and you can respond to them in the moment.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's so much more impactful. One, they get you see them. And they now have value in a way that is personal to them versus, them commenting on a static video, for example, where but still that know, like, and trust factor is built through that personal connection.
It's like a conversation,
Absolutely.
Right? And I love what you said about it doesn't take a lot of work. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're going to have to work, right? You're going to have to get better at it in practice, but there's no editing involved, right?
Right.
You can use what almost everybody that's doing this has, which is a smartphone.
Absolutely.
And almost every platform now offers some sort of live function.
Yes.
Can you really quick just tell us what are one or two of your success stories from live and how have you seen it work for your business?
Well, it's incomparable, in my opinion. It's the fastest path to the know, like, and trust factor that I've ever seen. I've been online and done a lot of marketing techniques for a long time, as we've established. But it's fascinating how quickly you can really build that deeper connection with people. That's obviously a benefit anytime when you're trying to build community, because without community, you can't create sales. Yep. But, one time I'll just share this story real quick because it's a money story. And I jumped on a live video. I said, hey, this is the problem that I had. I know many of you have it. And because I had the problem, I created a solution to the problem. And, if you're interested in the solution, here's how you buy it. And I created 5 figures in sales in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So normally, the process, you send out a bunch of emails and the sales trickle in as they trickle in. So it was fascinating to watch how quickly people snapped up. Yeah. I mean, people were buying before I had ever finished the video.
It's a QVC model,
Absolutely.
right? And again, QVC was selling products and things. Actually, Gary Vaynerchuk said this in his first big book, right? Crush It. He said, whoever brings QVC to the marketplace first is just going to see huge wins.
Well, my friend Chalene Johnson teaches what she calls the Infomercial Infomercial Strategy, and that absolutely worked.
Yep.
I tried it for the first time a couple of weekends ago, actually at her event, and it's fascinating because it was uncomfortable because I hadn't done it before, But it was fascinating to watch how the process actually not only gives people value, but makes them feel like they're not being sold to. It was awesome, fascinating.
Awesome. Kim Garst, you guys check her out. We're going to have the links down below. Is there anywhere you want to send people, like something you want to promote? I know that you have a blog as well. We'll make sure to put the links before we end this.
Well, I usually just send everybody to my blog, which is kimgarst.com/blog. Lots of great free content there that you can learn from and see where it fits into your business.
Yeah, and you guys can even see if you're addicted to social media. I saw that post on your blog. So hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was an honor. You guys, as always, here on Video Influencers, helping build your influence, income, and impact with online videos. We'll talk to you later.